What's up, Helix users? This is Steve Sterlacci. This 3.7 update is really one of my favorites that's come out in a really long time. So much so that I kind of did a little bit of thinking about wanting to make a full all-in-one giggable preset, and I want to give it to you for free. So this is going to be a little bit of a walkthrough workflow video where you're going to see how I dial things in, how I actually make my presets for live use. If you are going to use this, I encourage you to take it to a sound check, to a rehearsal, play it through your setup, figure it out how it's going to work for your sound. This is typically what I do. We're going to talk about why as we go. Just basically how I consider these things to be most ready to be taken into a rehearsal. And then obviously, like I said, make final adjustments as we go. I'm going to try to use as many new features as possible. I think everything that I'm planning, or at least that I'm thinking about, I don't really have a plan when I do these. I kind of just wing it. But I think I'm going to use pretty much everything from the new update. Maybe a couple of others. But yeah, this is going to be fun. Let's do it. Also, hello. Do you see the stuff? This is a Signal Chain, Signal Flow Helix hoodie that I can put links to below. I'm not affiliated at all, but I found it, and you should go get one. I'll put a link to it below. There's no affiliation whatsoever. The dog hair does not come with it. Also, other cool things. Just a little quick update. What is this? Yeah, this is unreal. This is a Nags. This is the first Nags that I've ever actually even played. One of my buddies runs a music store around here, and he is a Nags dealer. And he said, hey, you want to use it for your Christmas tour and for your videos, you know, make a couple videos with it, give us some social media promo. And would you have said no? Look at that. I got two of them. I got this one, and I got almost like Les Paul Jr.-ish, but a totally different animal. These are all handmade. Like the guy that runs the company, the guy that started the company actually started the wood library for Paul Reed Smith, and their guitars are insane. Very high-end, very, very nice, and kind of terrifying to be borrowing one. Anyway, let's get to the point of the video. Okay, so here in HX Edit, I've already gone ahead and added a few things, so just to skip that, save some time. We've got the new feedbacker. We've got the prize drive, the new Nobles. We have got the Dripman, or the Bassman, whatever you want to call it, even though it is a guitar amp. It's in the bass folder for some reason. Then I have a second amp, so I'm also doing the new 2203. So this is going to be a 2-amp preset. We're going to go one cab. I had a bunch of questions on the 212Z Best cab here. I'm going to show you a little dual cab workflow that I do and how I get my cabinets dialed in, because I don't use IRs anymore, and I haven't used IRs for some time, especially since the new cab update. We've got the new dynamic ambience. This isn't new to this update, but it's fairly new. We're going to try my friend JB Eccles setting, and supposedly it gives you the best room feel. So we're going to get that amp in the room thing there. And we've got the new Bloom in stereo. And we'll probably add some toys as we go. We'll see what happens. So first, I added those blocks. I've just got to make sure that I do this. Make sure that I change this to path 2A so that I'm getting signal. So I haven't tweaked anything yet, but I'm going to have the dual amp. So I'm going to turn off the Marshall for now. I'm also going to turn off the Bloom, and everything else is off. So I'm just going to dial in the amp and cabinet section first. Now, I go for the cabinets first, because typically when you're going to record yourself playing guitar, you're not going to tweak your amp settings and then go mic your cabinet and move it around. Typically, I feel like it's a back and forth. So I would typically set up a cabinet with my microphones, put them where I want it, and then go tweak some settings to see if I can get the sound I want. And then if I feel there needs to be a change, I'll go back in and move the mic. So here's just kind of how I work. 57 on the left, and I want this to be... The cap edge is like kind of the standard position, but I like it slightly off. Depending on how bright we wind up, that might change. And then distance, I always put it as close as you can get. And then for the second mic, it's right about here. Nailed it. Isn't that so satisfying? So this is the Royer 121 ribbon mic, my other favorite mic. This is the classic combination. And this one is either going to be cap edge or more towards the center-ish, because it's not as harsh of a mic. So long story short, I could just do that and get going and be totally fine. So let's see where we're at with just this. So the basement's a little bit dirty. So before I even touch the cabinets again, I'm going to go into here. And I want to bring this drive to more like an edge of breakup area. I'll keep the bright cap on because I have humbucker guitar. It's got tons of low end, which I'm going to just... This is just kind of this is not really... I'm not experimenting with this because I typically know how the models work and what I like and what I can hear. I can just make those adjustments. So typically I'll always take out some drive and some bass. That's kind of like my 101 once I pull up an amp. Let's see what we got. Still a little crunchy. Let's bring that back even more. So we're getting close to edge of breakup there. I typically will like, and this is kind of a rule of thumb that I stole from Tim Pierce, where you could be a little crunchy and it'll still read as clean when you get it into a track or with a band in a mix. So that sounds crunchy. But if I pull back a little bit, so that's a desirable crunch, in my opinion, that's going to sound more clean when you're in a mix. I'm not even going to touch the mids. Maybe I could bring the treble. I'm just going to bring my headphone volume up. Something worth noting is that you should always check your tones with your volume up pretty high. So I think there's a little harshness going on, but instead of going for the treble knob, now I'm going to call up the 57 again. And I'm going to take some high EQ off of this to about 5.5, see if that makes a difference. Cool. I think that's fine for me. Let's now check out this. JB says, set this to stock settings. Whoops, I went off stock settings. He says, stock settings, 45%. So it's been on the whole time, and I forgot. There you go. Versus off. I miss it now that it's not there. We're going to keep that on. Good tip, JB. Nice. Really feels like that's a good amp sound. Good amp in the room vibe. So JB has a YouTube channel of some Helix stuff also. Go check that out. And now let's bypass this and enable the 2203. Way louder. Bring that channel volume. We're also going to bring that drive down because that's too much for me. This guitar is awesome to play. These are bare knuckles pickups in here. Never played them before, but they sound like hot rodded single coils, which I love. Yeah, playing this has been a lot of fun. I guess we need more drive if this is going to be a drive channel. Yeah, didn't really even touch any of the other stuff here. I think that sounds pretty good as it is. Let's see what this input does, because in the literature it says to mess with this on a foot switch. Okay, we're going to skip that for now, because that's probably a whole nother ball game. I'd use maybe snapshots, parameter controls to make 2 channels in that amp. What else can we do here? Let's mess with some sag. Maybe just a little bit. This is what I love about this amp. This is probably one of my favorite Marshall amps. You don't lose any clarity. I mean, it's not often you can get that much gain and that much distortion and be able to still play clean chords. Chords clean. Chords will still sound separate or separated and super clear and articulate. I really love this amp. We haven't even done anything else yet. So now let's have some fun. We're going to assign this to the same foot switch. So we're going to go bypass assign. We want this to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to make that 5. And I'm also going to make this 5. So that now I have my amp switch. Amp switcher. By the way, when you do this, make sure that you bypass one or the other if you're following along. I encourage you to try all this stuff on your own too. Don't just go download the preset. Actually, try to follow this and, you know, mess with this stuff and see what you think and adjust things how you would. So now I've got my... Now I think my clean's a little hot. So now I'm going to go to my DAW, which I'm recording in right now. Cakewalk, Sonar, free from BandLab, whatever. So I've got to bring the channel volume up of the Brit here. And we're just about in the ballpark. Maybe we went a little too high. I guess I'll put a little more hair. I keep adding more that I wasn't going to add. Cool. Is that still a little bright? Maybe now I'll tame down some of the treble. Just a little bit. I think we're in a good spot there. So let's now go to the Nobles. We're going to be on the Bassman, hit the Nobles on. You should like my drive low. Spectrum there, a little bit more level. They have the bass cut on. If I'm using humbuckers, I'll keep the bass cut on, and single coils, I'll take it off. I'm also going to assign this a foot switch while we're here. Right click, bypass assign. Let's make that foot switch 1. I like where that's at. Now let's do the feedbacker. So feedbacker, this is going to be an interesting one to mess with. I typically like this. I think I liked it plus an octave. I'm also going to increase my attack and increase the release all the way up because I'm going to set this to be a momentary foot switch so that I'm going to be more in control. I like the attack being somewhere in the later second range because I feel like when you're doing feedback, you don't really expect it. Like if you're doing real feedback, you don't have an exact count of when it comes into play. It kind of just happens, so I don't really want to pay attention to that, but I don't want it to be right away, and I'd rather it be while the note's sustaining. So if you're sustaining a note for 4 seconds, you're probably going to generate some feedback, I would think, if you're doing a real amp. And release, I'm just going to go all the way up. I am going to bypass a sign to foot switch 8, and I want this to be a momentary switch, which I'm going to adjust here. Momentary. So now it should engage with the JCM. Let's see. Oh, I want the trails off. That's what it was. The trails is what's making it go. So now turning the trails off means that when I let go of the foot switch, it's going to turn off. With the trails on, it's going to keep going for the full 3.9 seconds. So make sure you turn the trails off if you want to do it this way. So now it should work as I want it to. Yeah, so now I'm momentarily pressing the foot switch there, and I'm able to kind of interact with it a little bit more. I'm a little bit more in control of it. And then you can mess with all the different settings here. They're all fun. Okay, so we've got a little bit of basis here. Let's now go to Bloom. Turn you on. Make this a little part of a solo boost. I'm going to go to the front here. Forgive me for moving quickly now, but I want to kind of get moving here. Horizon Drive, my favorite solo boost sound. Attack and bright are going to be up. Level is going to be hot. Little bit of drive added. We're also going to assign this to foot switch 2. No reason, just because that's where I want it. Add some delay here. Cool. And now I'm also going to set this to foot switch 2 with that horizon drive. I'm also going to throw an EQ here. This is kind of what I do for solo boosting. I like the Cali Q graphic because it's simple and you can't really screw it up. And I'm just going to add a little bit of here, a little boost. Be careful with this because you will blow things up here. This is just some arbitrary boost settings that I just like. And I'm going to have everything now on foot switch 2. Solo boost. I think the horizon boost is a little bright. Yeah, my bad. Maybe I was a little bit gleeful with that. There you go. Crazy solo boost sound. Let's add one more toy here. How about a mod effect? Still feeling a little bright. I wouldn't mind even taking this down to 4.8. No extra charge for overusing the feedbacker. All right, let's assign our phase. Foot switch 10. All right, so this is like a decent-ish bass sound, just something I wanted to have fun doing. I also wanted to get the guitar in the studio. This is my first time playing it in the room here, messing around with some Helix stuff. So I did this totally blind, having no clue what it was going to sound like or how this was going to go. So keep that in mind if you try this and hate it. All right, I'll put this up for download on my website. You can check it out in the description below. Also, check out those affiliate links and support the channel. Black Friday, go get some sales, buy some gear. See you next time.